We begin 13 News at 4 today with breaking news. 2 IMPD officers now indicted by a grand jury here in Marion County.
So we were the first to report the charges stemming from the shooting of Anthony Macklin as he slept in his car in his grandmother's driveway. And our team has been all over this story since the news broke just a couple hours ago.
John Duran and Karen Campbell have both been digging into the indictment and the response from Anthony Macklin's family. And Karen, let's start with you.
Hey, Dustin. Prosecutor Ryan Mears tells us that those officers are Carl Chandler and Alexander Gregory, indicted on multiple counts, including battery with a deadly weapon and criminal recklessness. Now, less than 30 minutes ago, we heard from IMPD Chief Randall Taylor saying that he respects the criminal justice process. Now, this all stems from an incident that happened December 31st of last year. Anthony Macklin, he was shot by police while sleeping in his car parked in his grandmother's driveway. Macklin's grandmother called 911 saying she wasn't sure if it was one of her kids or someone else. Now, when officers arrived to find Macklin asleep, they say he had a gun in his lap. When he woke up and started to move, that's when officers started shooting. Ryan Mears telling us the use of force now coming into play.
Anytime you're involving or dealing with questions of use of force, a lot of times that question comes down to the issue of reasonableness. And so when you talk about reasonableness, I think it's very important that the community help define what reasonableness actually means, which is why you put it in front of a grand jury. And a grand jury is comprised of 6 random people from this community who ultimately get to help make that determination.
Now, a third officer was under investigation but has not been indicted. And Chief Taylor placed both officers on administrative leave following the return of the indictments and will review the internal affairs investigation with his executive staff. So, Dustin and Felicia, the criminal cases now against both of these officers will play out in a Marion County Superior Court.
All right, I know you'll have much more for us coming up at 5 o'clock. Karen, thank you.
And Macklin's family has been outspoken in what they want to see from IMPD in response to the shooting. And today, John Duran spoke briefly with the family about today's grand jury indictment.
Our team coverage continues live from the near northeast side. John, I know they were understandably emotional after hearing that news. What did they tell you?
Dustin, another word I would use is the family is grateful about today's news. And right behind me, this East Side Church is where we are expecting to hear from Anthony Macklin and his family on Monday afternoon about these indictments. I also briefly spoke to Vicky Driver, Macklin's grandmother, at her home where the shooting happened. She was very emotional, had just learned about the news, used the word happy with me, but also said she was going to take some time with family over the weekend to process the news that she had just learned. This is what Anthony Macklin looked like when we saw him last back in February. He was shot by officers 3 times. The family said in a statement today, Macklin wasn't committing a crime that night, hadn't threatened anyone, did not attempt to harm anyone or posed any threat to the officers. The statement says while he had a gun in the car, he never reached for it, had it in his hand, or pointed it at officers. The statement says the Macklins are grateful but are asking for additional disciplinary action from IMPD. And part of that statement saying Anthony and his family again call upon Chief Randall Taylor to suspend officers Gregory and Chandler without pay and recommend their termination by the Merit Board. Again, Monday here at Tabernacle Baptist Church on 30th Street is where we will hear from the family's attorney about those criminal charges, also larger issues of police accountability, they say. We're also going to be sharing you some additional news that they spoke about on Monday afternoon, and we're going to hear more from the family later on tonight at 5. Dustin, Felicia.
All right, look forward to your reporting then. John, thank you.